Long ago, in a distant land, where towering mountains and deep forests lay shrouded like an eternal curse, there lived a wealthy old man named Baron von Schatten. He was a miserly, greedy nobleman who had amassed an enormous fortune through deceit, by seizing land from poor farmers, and even by selling his soul to the devil in dark secret pacts. His wealth included a massive stone castle with vast halls, piles of gold and jewels hidden in secret vaults, and fertile lands stretching for miles. But few knew that this entire inheritance was cursed, bound by an ancient curse born from the souls of those he had ruined and killed. The curse ensured that anyone who possessed the fortune would be consumed by greed, leading inevitably to isolation, suffering, and a tragic death. Baron von Schatten knew of the curse well, but he mocked it. "I'll be dead," he sneered. "My children can deal with it themselves." He had 3 sons, Albrecht, Bernhard, and Conrad brothers, born into wealth, but shaped by very different natures. Albrecht, the eldest, was ambitious and obsessed with power. He was well educated and skilled in managing estates, yet deep within him burned the same greed as his father. Bernhard, the second son, was kind and gentle, devoted to helping the poor and believing firmly in fairness. Conrad, the youngest, was reckless and adventurous, often wandering deep into the forest in search of lost treasures. When Baron von Schatten died of illness, though in truth the curse had begun to claim him, he left a will dividing the inheritance equally among his 3 sons. "Use it wisely," he wrote in his final letter, but he did not reveal the curse, fearing his sons would abandon the fortune. The brothers rejoiced, embracing one another. "We are rich," they cried. "This inheritance will bring us happiness." They divided the castle into 3 sections, split the gold evenly, and managed the lands together. But the curse began to creep in slowly, relentlessly, like poisonous roots spreading underground. Albrecht, as the eldest, took control of the largest share and immediately began expanding. He bought land from bankrupt farmers, built large estates, and invested heavily in trade. At first, everything flourished. Harvests were plentiful, gold multiplied, and Albrecht married a noblewoman named Isolde, beautiful and just as greedy as he was. "Our father's inheritance is a blessing," Albrecht boasted to his brothers. Then the curse revealed itself. The land he bought turned barren for no clear reason. Crops withered. The farmers working for him rebelled over low wages. Isolde, bored with a husband obsessed with gold, began an affair with the steward. Enraged, Albrecht hired mercenaries to suppress the unrest, but the harder he crushed it, the stronger the curse grew. One night, fire erupted from the gold vaults, burning half of his portion of the castle. Albrecht spent all his remaining wealth trying to stop the blaze. Isolde fled with her lover, stealing jewels as she went. Alone, wandering the blackened ruins, Albrecht whispered in despair, "The inheritance. What has it done to me?" He tried to sell his land to survive, but the curse poisoned the soil, and no one would buy it. At last, Albrecht starved to death in his own bed, clutching his father's will, his body gnawed by rats. Bernhard, the kind second son, witnessed his brother's fall without understanding the curse. He used his share to help the poor, building shelters, distributing gold to farmers, and marrying a gentle woman named Clara, who urged him to live simply. "Our father's inheritance exists, so we may do good," Bernhard told her, hope shining in his eyes. He turned his section of the castle into a refuge for the needy and transformed the land into free communal gardens. Villagers praised him. Bernhard is a saint. But the curse did not spare kindness, it twisted it into suffering. Those he helped grew lazy and demanding. Rumors spread that Bernhard was secretly hoarding gold. Clara grew worried. "My love, this inheritance feels wrong. Why do those we help come to hate us?" Bernhard refused to believe it and continued giving. The curse escalated. Legal disputes erupted over land he had donated. One night, a mob stormed his section of the castle, convinced he was hiding treasure. In the chaos, Clara was trampled to death. Bernhard was beaten and left crippled. He survived, broken and destitute, wandering as a beggar. The villagers forgot his generosity and mocked him as a fool. Bernhard died by the roadside, cold and alone, unburied. Conrad, the reckless youngest son, was the last to live. Seeing both brothers die horribly, he grew fearful. There must be a curse, he thought. Using what remained of his inheritance, he traveled the world, seeking a way to break it. He married an adventurous woman named Freya, who followed him through forests and ancient caves. "Our father's inheritance is a burden," Conrad said, his voice trembling. He tried to renounce it, selling the castle, giving away gold, and living simply in the wilderness. But the curse clung to him. The gold he sold turned out to be false, and he was hunted as a fraud. Lands he abandoned collapsed in landslides, burying villagers who blamed him. Freya became pregnant, but the curse claimed their child, born prematurely and dying moments after birth. Desperate, Conrad sought sorcerers and sages. One mysterious old man finally told him, "The inheritance is cursed by your father's sins. To break it requires total sacrifice, but you are already too late." Conrad tried anyway, burning the last of the gold and destroying the castle. But the curse turned inward. Freya died of a strange illness, and Conrad was hunted like a criminal. He fled into the deep forest, living like a beast, despair consuming him. "The inheritance, it has destroyed us all." At last, driven mad by grief, Conrad threw himself into a deep abyss, dying unseen. Thus, all three brothers perished, and the inheritance vanished like ashes. The castle collapsed, the lands turned wild, and villagers told the tale as a warning. An inheritance can be a curse, carrying the sins of one generation to devour the next, whether greedy or kind. There was no fairness, only the darkness of fate.